are today's strongest link, and you go away with £2,170. James, you leave with nothing. Join us again for the weakest link. Bye.
It was great to be on the weakest link. To get to the final was beyond my expectations. Disappointed I didn't win it, but best luck to Peter, he deserved it. He played well.
With the money, I plan to take my son on holiday, probably to Greece.
If you would like to apply to be a contestant on Weakest Link, please write to Free Post Weakest Link or call 09001 020022 or visit bbc.co.uk/weakest link.
The following programme is classified PG. Parental guidance is recommended for viewers under 15 years.
In Wellington, the sun is out. It's a little bit windy, but they've had dreadful weather right through the week. But right now, it looks very, very promising. Let's take a look at the team card and just talk us through this and just tell me the weaknesses and strengths as you see it with these fellows and what we're going to see right now.
Righto, for New Zealand, the superstar Kristen Inu on the wings, Luke Cavell on the powerhouse, Taniela Tuaki. Now in the centres, Stevie Matai from Manly and the skillful Paul Fatawira from the West Tigers. Now the halves, a lot of pressure on these boys. Ben Roberts and Jeremy Smith from the South Sydney club. At lock, in the back row, Jeremy Smith, obviously a popular name in New Zealand, Simon Mannering and Frank Pritchard. Up front, what a strength this is. Roy Asatasi, the captain, Dean Hallertau, and big Fui Moi gets his chance. Now the interchange bench, David Fayumu, Shantine Harvey, a really good player for the Italy Super League, Semi Rapira, and Jeff Lima gets his chance from the Storm. The coach is Gary Campbell.
Well, the Australian team card, let's take a look at it and run the tail of the tape.
And even with 8 debutants, a very strong side, and 3 test debutants are at the back. Brent Stewart's the fullback, had a wonderful season for the Seagulls. On the wings, 2 teenagers, Israel Folau and Jared Hayne. In the centres, these players, how good are they? 2 of the most exciting players you'll see in rugby league, Mark Gasnier and Greg Inglis, given time and space this afternoon. They'll be absolutely devastating. In the halves, my advice for these 2 guys, Greg Bird and Cooper Cronk, is don't get overawed, don't try and be brilliant, just get busy. 2 very good players. The back row for the Australians, tough as teak, Dallas Johnson will lock the scrum. In the second row, Nathan Hindmarsh and Ryan Hoffman gets his chance. Up front, Steve Price will come off the bench and start in the front row. He'll be joined by Petro Sivanasiva, and Cameron Smith is the captain and hooker. On the bench, Brett Kite and Kurt Gidley will partner Willie Mason and Michael Crocker, and the coach is Ricky Stewart.
Steve Ganson is our referee for this one.
Okay.
9th International.
Let's go.
For the Englishman, he says let's go. Final match. Footy on the Nine Network for the year. Test match rugby league. Oh, tough one straight from the kicker. Sensation. Into the arms of Jeremy Smith. They are half a metre from the line. Incredible stuff. Nobody's got the ball. Extraordinary start. The crowd is up. Let's go back. Hallertau and Smith and on for Mannering. The Australians put the test.
Hold, mate.
Played havoc with the kick-off. It came down underneath the crossbar. Now with Asatasi.
Back up. Hold stick.
Do well to hang on in this first set, the Kangaroos. To the right side with Smith. Short pass, Mannering. Good defence.
Cameron, hold pump.
Greg Inglis there. With Stephen Price. Now they steady to the left. Smith's kick is airborne and taken by Stewart. Snatched out of the air, and the Kangaroos do hang on.
And Jeremy Smith, the halfback, still down after putting that kick through. Well plucked out by Brett Stewart, limping back out to the right-hand side. As we have a look at the restart again, and this is great defence. Jeremy Smith, the Melbourne variety, is flying through. And it was Cooper Cronk with Petro Sivanasiva who saved the day.
It was Cooper Cronk who put it down.
Hold.
And obviously not an easy one coming down so close to the crossbar, and a bit of nerves as well on Test Taboo.
5. Now back up.
Go. Darren back here on Test Taboo making a few errors. Cooper Cronk, that would have been an absolute disaster. And it could have been a try right from that one play. Cavell's got his first touch in Test match football.
Yeah, but he got himself out of it, didn't he? He made the try-saving tackle, so what could have been a nervous start, he'll probably say to himself, well, that was a great tackle to get out of that. Now they got the ball up towards halfway.
Now away, Tuiaki gets involved. West Tiger in the side. Alongside Dean Hallertau, who went to W half there, and now Moi goes on the charge, and already a crowd favourite with the Kiwi fans, as he is at Parramatta. But this time, Jeremy Smith. This is Jeremy John Smith, the lock forward, and Jeremy James Smith, the halfback. The Halatau back, and Inu steadies, high ball. How tough is this? How tough is this to catch? Falau makes it look easy. Let me tell you, when that ball went up, it was headed towards the posts, and it just swayed and turned and ended up closer to the sideline.
Well, it would have been a tougher kick if it had been a little bit back towards the chasers. He had a fair catch at that. Greg Inglis did well. I think next time he'll have people in his face as he attempts to do so.
Now back up. Hold.
Great to see the sunshine in Wellington too, considering what the two teams had to prepare in for much of the week. Here's Hoffman. He battled the flu for much of the week in preparation, missed a number of training sessions. Melbourne Storm back rower, now another one of them in Dallas Johnson. Tackled low down by Halatau. We've got a penalty here to the Kangaroos, and we'll put them inside the Kiwis half.
Yeah, flop there against Fui Moi Moi. Referee deeming that the tackle had been completed. No need for Moi Moi to come in, and Cameron Smith will find touch. Well, he won't find touch.
Well, that's an abysmal kick. Cavell gets it. He didn't put a great deal of oomph. I don't know what happened there with Cameron.
Yeah, we spoke about it in the pre-match, Andrew. The wind here in this stadium, they call the Cake Tin, Westpac Stadium, swirls around. You think it's with you, and it's not. It's actually into you. But in different parts of the ground, it's blowing in all sorts of directions.
Well, I took the walk down from the hotel. It was about a 15-minute walk. I mean, it is windy Wellington. It's a wind that sorts out the good toupees from the cheap ones, is one way of putting it. It's hit hard.
Greg Bird coming in, big shot, aggressive play. As Jeremy Smith is still in trouble from that early knock he took. Brett Stewart allowing this football to go over the sideline. Field position of the Kiwis.
Good kicker of the football, Ben Roberts. And Cavell's got problems with the right arm. That was the hit. Bird coming inside on Moi Moi. But then Roberts with his kick found good ground, 45 metres.
I also made the walk from the hotel room to the ground here today, Andrew. The concierge said it's a 10-minute walk, but the wind's into you today, so it took me about 18 minutes. That's how strong it was.
Tighten, stand.
Well, the locals tell you, you get used to it, but it's quite extraordinary when you're coming off the plane. It's a rocky old landing as the Australians, and Bird makes ground over the 30 and almost back to the 40, so he's making his mark early. The Cronulla Shark. And now with Jared Hayne.
Interesting to see how Greg Bird plays though, whether he likes to play as a traditional 5'8", looking to ignite the outside backs, or whether or not he's going to use his running game. That's a great example of how powerful he can be running the ball.
And Cameron Smith just inside the Kiwis half. Sivanasiva reaches a milestone today, his 30th Test match, second most capped forward in Aussie history. And now Cooper Cronk kicking to the corner. Inu's got to chase back, so to Tuiaki. Inu on fingertips. The right, then the left, and just gathers it in.
And Luke Cavell, no good, leaves the field as the Kiwis work it off their own line. The right arm hanging as Cavell makes his way off. And number 15, Shontaine Harpy, will move closer to the action.
Absolute tragedy for Luke Cavell as we watch the replay, courtesy of Sky Sports New Zealand. The fingertip control there of Inu, but Luke Cavell, who qualifies for New Zealand by the birth of his father here in New Zealand, and his father these days works out of Papua New Guinea, had made the trip down to see his son on debut, and that debut has lasted all of 5 minutes. With the tour to go away as well, any injury today would put that in jeopardy as Hayne fills the ball for Australia, 15 metres inside the Kangaroos half.
Just a little bit lax out of marker defence there, the Australians. New Zealand running from dummy half made good ground. Cavell on the sideline getting diagnosed there with that arm. I have to say he's dubious about getting back. And good ground now up the middle of the field through Hoffman.
Hoffman 35 metres out. Smith dummy half, and they will attack the short side. Here is Inglis, the Clyde Churchill medal winner, wrapped up by Mannering, but they're 23 metres away. Cameron Smith turns it left, Cronk, and on for Bird. He's able to offload. Good ball for Stewart. Bird stood in the tackle of Smith and also Fatawira. 15 away. Cronk will try some of his own. Not as high as he could have put it, but out towards Falau. It comes loose, but New Zealand have it. So plenty of times to Melbourne this year. The kick Out for Israel Folau. In fact, that was the story right from the word go when we saw him for the first time on Channel 9 this year, the first Friday night of the year. Scored off a bomb.
Well done.
Right-hand corner against the Tigers.
He got some interference there too, Folau. The number 3, Steve Maddai, getting in his way. Mindful of the fact that he can leap for the ball, the Australian bench waiting nervously for their opportunity.
Okay, boys, hold here.
Gus, isn't it good to watch representative football in daylight hours? It just occurred to me now, we see so much night football. Here we are watching an afternoon test match.
I love Sunday afternoon football.
Yes, I know that. I put up the lob, let you put it away. It is a throwback to our youth when we used to go along with SCG and watch Australia play, maybe the touring French side of the Great Britain team. Here's Moi Moi, gets inside the Kangaroos half. It's another good charge. He's doing what is asked of him. Fui Fui Moi Moi. Now Jeremy Smith inside for Mannering. Busy start to the game.
I like him, Mannering. I really like him back in the forwards. I think that's where the Warriors will play him next year.
Now Roberts floats it out for Pritchard. Inside there for Maddai. Just had to check his run to make sure he had hold of the ball. Tackled by Hindmarsh. 25 metres out from the line. Roberts purposeful with this kick out towards Hayne. It's touched forward by Harpy. Play on for the Kangaroos. And a 0 tackle 10 metres out from the line. And now Bird will run it out and again make good meters.
Well, a report came out from the sideline. It's not good for Luke Cavell. A dislocated right elbow. It popped out and went back in. But that does not look good. And it may well be Shontaine Harpy playing the duration on this right wing as Cameron Smith finds Steve Price. Brought into the run on side, relegating Brent Kite to the bench.
Okay.
Price 5 metres inside the Kangaroos half. Now Smith on for Cronk, and there is Hindmarsh running at Ben Roberts, who did well to hang on low down. Pritchard over the top, right on halfway the Kangaroos, and back with Cooper Cronk. One of the Melbourne Storm contingent getting this kick over the head of Tuiaki, and the bounce takes it over the sideline, and we will have a scrum 20 metres out from the New Zealand line. But that is an absolute tragedy for Cavell, so not only Test taboo, 2 are now, you would think, very much in doubt.
And it doesn't help Gary Kimball either. He would have had an idea of how he'd have liked to have used his interchange, and all of a sudden Shontaine Harpy is into the game earlier than expected. He'll have to change his thinking. Played with Gary in the 80s at Hull FC, a great New Zealand fullback, played 19 tests, and wish him all the best in his new role as the Kiwi coach.
I heard him interviewed on New Zealand TV this morning, and very passionate about the job he's about to take on.
Well, he's black and white through and through. It was a great player himself, and he was the assistant coach back in the mid-90s for the World Cup. He's bided his time, and now, along with the likes of James Lulawai, has taken over. And the job is there to be done as Asatasi, his leader, takes it forward close to halfway.
And 3 in the tackle too. Hindmarsh is there. Sivanasiva was there. Steve Ganson's got a problem with a tackle. Cameron Smith involved as well.
Mate. You've locked his head straight up.
And Cameron Smith saying lock the head straight up from Steve Ganson.
Boys.
Which is a description of a grapple.
It's quite late in the count as well. Shows to be disappointed with that.
Hold.
So restart of play, 39 metres out from the line.
Just have a look at the replay there, and
no problem, mate.
Was Cameron Smith the man penalised?
All right, mate. Go.
Played by Pritchard for Halatau. Moi Moi, another run. Makes 5 this time. Smith has hold of him. They're 25 metres away from the Kangaroos line. Halatau shifts it down left side. Jeremy Smith, the lock forward. 15 metres away. Good chance, the Kiwis. They've settled into the game well. Now attacking with Roberts. He kicked early. And again caught on the full.
Oh, that's beautiful positional play from Brett Stewart. What was he doing there? It's not a normal position, but he obviously picked up that Ben Roberts had gone down the short blind side. Nice little kick in, and look where Stewart is. That's perfect placement. Australia getting a penalty coming out of trouble. A couple of nice takes on debut for the Manly Sea Eagles fullback.
In the meantime, after Folau took a good run out, penalty to the Kangaroos, so quickly turns against the Kiwis. And a kick from Roberts wasn't on the last. Now Steve Price back up to halfway. He will play in the All Golds match next week. Tremendous honour for him. Flies out tomorrow to the north of England. Now Sivanasiva Tackled low down there by Hallatat. Cameron Smith makes good ground, makes 15 metres. He will get it almost to the 30-metre line, New Zealand end of the field.
He was looking for Gasnier, who'd come in lurking around the middle of the ruck.
Now Australia shift it left, and a nice short pass for Hoffman off Greg Bird. And Hoffman able to stand on the tackle. It comes back for Price. He's inside the Kiwis 20. And now the hard work begins for New Zealand. Cameron Smith, 10 from the line. Cooper Cronk, he's got support left side. He had Hoffman there. He had Inglis. And referee Ganson has got a penalty here for the Kangaroos. And this was on tackle 5.
He's on the ground.
There was a lovely tackle from Simon Mannering.
I've just explained it. Right.
And the referee explaining that the next man came in with the elbow. Sivanasiva takes it centre field. 5 up their sleeve. Best opportunity of the match.
Taken down by Moi and by Smith. 5 from the line. Smith picks out Dallas Johnson.
2.
Dallas Johnson, a product of Atherton in Queensland, tackled. Now Smith looks dangerous here. Cooper Cronk on for Bird. Bird is strong. Bird goes, lost the ball. May have been stripped by Madai. Ganson says lost over the line. 20-metre restart.
He done so well too, Greg Bird. Normally a left foot stepper, but he came back strongly off the right foot and was able to get a second surge towards the line and looked certain to score. He's claiming the ball was stripped out, but...
Well, there's no doubt it was taken out by Steve Maddai, but he's got to be able to make that play, Maddai.
Of course he is.
You've got to be able to stop a man from scoring in that situation, and he did so. Steve Price gets a football now, a mistake. Ryan Hoffman, 22 out.
Jeff Lima came on. Sterlo lost it with his first touch, and he's been hurt as well.
You're the captain.
So Lima on and loses the ball. He's hobbling back.
0.
He's got a few problems, Jeff Lima.
There's no problem with that, Paul.
Kangaroos have possession.
Well, they can't have him out there in the middle of play with the trainer. He's standing next to the referee at the moment.
Lima on for Moi. Cassia gets a bit of that footwork happening. Good tackle, Madai. Some quality stuff here in Wellington. Folau comes in field this giant at 18 years of age. Israel Folau. What a try. We welcome a superstar to Test footy. How strong is this bloke?
Well, this man, this young man,
this kid,
now the youngest Australian representative ever. Chuck Fraser was a man back in 1911 who held that title. But now Israel Folau, let's put it in perspective. Steve Price is the oldest player out there. The try scorer, as we see the mistake earlier giving Australia possession, was 9 years of age when Steve Price made his Test debut. He was 4 years old when Steve Price started with the Canterbury Bulldogs. Now their teammates out there, and Folau powers his way across next to the posts.
Oh, my God. What an unbelievable debut season for this young man. And look at the power in that surge. I've said this a number of times during the year. The Melbourne Storm talent scout, Peter O'Sullivan, who found this kid and took him down to the Storm,
keep going, boys,
said that he would be the next Mal Meninga.
Davey, you do, mate.
And there is absolutely nothing that has happened in 2007 that has me questioning that rather illustrious judgment. Cameron Smith from alongside the posts.
3 from 8 in the grand final. First one in the wind of Wellington. Successful 6-0 Test match rugby league on Channel 9. Crowd when they last had the Test match here was 25,000. As we watch Folau, his first try in Test football. Test football for a dozen years.
Side, boys. Okay.
And the action coming to you live on Channel 9 from Wellington. And Australia through Israel Folau, leading by 6 points to 0. Exciting stuff to see this young bloke on Test debut.
And I'm sure you'll find the first man he beat in that surging run was actually Roy Asatasi. Roy doesn't miss many, and normally doesn't miss wingers in close quarters.
Now Cameron Smith already making a mark on the game.
I like that from Cameron Smith. When he surges out of dummy half like that, he's at his best. You know, he's really up for the game.
Well, look at this. Gasnier coming in from the right side over to the left as well.
I love that too.
Thought you would. Smith away for Cronk.
Clear.
He's got control in his kicking game. Look, we say not easy for the catchers here. It's not easy for the kickers either. Judging this breeze, that one trickles over the dead ball line for a 20-metre restart.
I'm just really pleased that Cameron Smith, Willie Mason coming to the sideline with the number 1 there, the first replacement for the Kangaroos. I just like the fact that Cameron Smith is surging out of dummy half. Sometimes he gets a little bit too team conscious, doesn't get selfish enough to display his own talents.
Okay, Petro.
Lima that time able to control the ball, tackled 15 metres inside the Kiwis half. Pritchard slipped the ball that went forward to Gasnier. Gasnier sets the alarm bells ringing and is wrapped up 35 metres away from the New Zealand line. Quick play the ball. Price is going to add to the roll-on. He's only 20 away and the Kiwis are under the pump right now. And it's on the back of a few of their own errors. Here's Cooper Cronk inside. Sivanasiva. Sivanasiva just half a metre short of the line and has lost the ball. He doesn't get too many tries, Sterlo. He's come awfully close right there.
Yes, he's a workhorse. And he doesn't cross too often. But as you pointed out, what a player he has been in the green and gold. The second most capped forward. And that is behind Johnny Raper.
Staying, boys.
He loses it just short of the line after the Australians were given another opportunity with Pritchard making the mistake.
It was actually a good grab there from Krishnan Inu. He saw that Sivanasiva was saving himself for one last surge at the line and got a hand on the ball. It was another strip, but he was defending his try line.
Live test match rugby league on Channel 9, and I think the Kiwis needing a few things to go their way at the moment. They are struggling a touch. Injury to Luke Cavell, not helping the cause. So they have to go to a second choice kicker as well. Here's Tuiaki with it. Tackled 15 metres inside the half for the Kiwis and a penalty. That's what they needed to go their way.
Contact with the head, mate. No contact with the head. Okay, mate, yeah.
Is there as goal kicker.
Okay. This English accent telling us that it was a high shot. I can't really see too much wrong there. Bit of a contact up around the neck. New Zealand will embrace that penalty. Hold. Needed to get something into the opposition half, and they've done that now with Pritchard picking up some good meters.
They make me laugh, the English referees, Bossy. They're very, very elaborate with their descriptions, aren't they? Little signals they give.
Jensen's done a pretty handy job in the past. He was the man who most famously remember the send-off of Adrian Morley over in England. First tackle of the match.
Willie, back foot, Will.
He's a good referee, just makes me laugh.
And welcome and wise stuff. Here's Azatazi with the ball 15 metres out from the line. So New Zealand get their chance. He's half upended there. I think he's really put in a dangerous position. Was lifted off the ground. There's a ball for Mannering put down. Their two runners were there very close quarters.
Wasn't a bad play from New Zealand. Did put the Australian defence back on their heels.
First.
Unfortunately, Mannering unable to take a proud return for Simon Mannering. He's a Wellington junior.
Two.
Jared Hayne quick play the ball and away goes Inglis with his loping stride.
You've just seen the replay there. Greg Bird made the decision to come in, and hole opened up on the outside for Mannering as Willie Mason gets his first touch. High tackle will be penalised.
He is taken high. You've got to get up high to hit Willie high in his 23rd test.
Jeremy Smith, the halfback,
mate,
the culprit.
Mate, if it was an eye, I wouldn't be blowing a whistle. Take it from me, it's eye. Captain, mate.
Take it from me, it's eye. I love him. He makes me laugh.
Mate, we've just had one or two both ways.
The big Willie charging at Jeremy Smith. Jeremy Smith.
But I'm prepared to deal with it
jumps
further.
Up and grabs him round the neck.
Okay, mate. Yeah. Okay, let's
and his defenders did bounce up.
So I'm going to put it with you. All right.
Referee Ganson has had a chat to the two captains, just saying a little bit too much high stuff so far in this game. Get it down. And Cameron Smith. Well, he will find touch this time.
Kiwis ready to send David Fayumu out there in 14.
Hold.
Some receiver the play off for Mason. Now Cameron Smith. Mason ready to rumble again. Willie Mason is 12 metres away from the line. Mannering there to make the tackle with Smith. Now some footwork from Stephen Price. He's got over his 11th test, his first since 2005, and the veteran of the side follows up the kid to score here in Test footy.
Yep, both ends. Youngest and oldest have got to cross the line, and both, well, they'll be soft tries in relation to the defence from New Zealand. Israel Folau went through 4. Steve Price, who shows a little bit of footwork, he's not noted for that, gets close to the line. There's a bit of a shuffle. Beats Lima. Asatasi drops off, gets under Inu. All too simple.
Who's speaking?
He's always had a great right foot step, Stephen Price. When he runs to his left-hand side of the field, he tends to go away across field. But it's when he runs on the right-hand side of the play of the ball that he can really straighten up sharply off the right foot that his most damaging runs come. And that time there he singled out Lima, who we'd seen earlier was in back play with injury, and he just pushed his way through him. Brent Tate joining the commentary team with Sky New Zealand, playing with the Warriors this year, or next year.
Now Smith, second attempt of the day. Cameron Smith is 2 from 2, and it's 12-0. Stephen Price gets a test try. And it is a busy week for him, off for that match against the Northern Union. In Warrington, the match will be played. All Golds to be coached by Wayne Bennett. We'll begin to centenary celebrations. Kick-off fielded by Stewart. And Mason to run back. Taken by Fayumu and Pritchard. Here we are at Westpac Stadium in Wellington. Now Gazdier away to Hindmarsh. Gazdier's been flattened. I think it was Steve Maddai. I'm pretty sure it's Maddai. Touch judge's flag is up. Gazdier down for the count after passing the football. This is old-fashioned Test footy, this sort of stuff.
And he did open up an opportunity on the outside if Nathan Hindmarsh had found the mark with his pass.
What, mate?
Mark Gazdier has missed most of the season through injury. Swinging right arm from Steve Maddai. You see there the number 5, Daniela Tuaki, forced to come in.
Well, I just heard the referee say to the video referee, make sure we get this right. So he's going to go by their interpretation of this.
Again, the only thing in that man's favour may be the fact that there's a hit that it came up off the shoulder to some degree. Let's have...
Well, it's a reckless tackle.
Yeah.
That's Ofsky.
That's not careless. That to me is definition of reckless. There's no intention to go much lower than the net.
Well, unfortunately for Mark Gazdier in the Australian team, the Medicab has been taken out.
Well, he's gone. He's just got to go to the showers. Maddai.
He's going to play us.
That's over.
He's fine when he comes in, Steve Maddai, with the shoulder charge. He's been very effective doing that, but that was a swinging arm.
He's a very aggressive player. It's his biggest part of his game, that crash tackle outside in. He usually likes to single out a forward who's just hitting the ball up and he doesn't think he's going to pass it. That time it was Gazdier, so he rushed in a little bit quickly, knowing full well he would put it through the hands. As Gazdier sitting up, thankfully, exits the field in the golf cart.
So here we go. Here we go, boys. Touch judge will come in. They're going to go through the official process. I don't think Steve Maddai is long for this game.
There's a report. It's a late hit, mate. It's not acceptable. Off.
Straight to the point. Steve Maddai is sent from the field. Not acceptable. The words of referee Steve Ganson. Maddai doesn't want to go. He's got a short walk to the showers too. He's down in the corner where the dressing rooms are. He has left his team one short. They're already 12 points down. And this test match is 13 versus 12 as Gazdier. Well, he's seen the last of the footy for today as well.
And with Maddai leaving, Kurt Gidley comes into the game. You're hoping for a better result than his brother Matt overnight, with St Helens being beaten by Leeds in the English Super League. Here's Mason. There'll be some feeling now in the next couple of minutes.
Now hold. Go.
So the Kangaroos have possession, and Price, who's having a stormer, he's up to halfway. He's over halfway. He left Shontaine Harpy behind. Big run.
Go.
One of the try scorers. 40 metres out. Smith for Byrne. They're looking to carve up now. Stewart, who's moved to left wing, gets away from Smith. Pass turned inside and Lima comes up with it. New Zealand ball.
Yeah, Kurt Gidley has gone back to fullback. Brett Stewart onto this left wing. New Zealand now trying to compose himself. Shontaine Harvey taking in a strong tackle there from Ryan Hoffman.
And now with Chris Inu on the 20-metre line. Jeremy Smith has been replaced for New Zealand. They've sent Halatau back out there, so they've got both of their starting dummy halves. Halatau will slot into the back row. Some suggestion there from Cameron Smith that the ball had been lost by Lima in that previous tackle.
Well, that'll be disappointing for Brett Stewart too. I mean, playing on debut at fullback, has now moved out to the wing. That's nothing against the man who fields the ball now, Kurt Gidley. It seems like a strange change to make. Rather than just put, say, a Ryan Hoffman out there, who has done that so often for the Melbourne Storm, could have played alongside Folau in the centres and left Stewart at fullback.
Ricky Stewart, the coach, has moved Jared Hayne way over to the right wing. Even be right centre, and he's left Folau on the wing. It does seem all very odd.
Yeah, it's a lot of changes just to cover the one player. And you know, when you come into a game with your interchange of representative football, you really want to know if one player goes down, what you're going to do. And I just find it hard to imagine that he thought of Gasnier with. I'd have to make 3 changes to cover the spot.
Jared Hayne to right centre. And now Cooper Cronk kicking under a little bit of pressure there from Fayumu. Fielded by Inu. He's got some work here. The young Parramatta Eel is wrapped up in the tackle by the young Parramatta Eel, Jared Hayne. And that hurts. Hayne's going to try and get him in goal.
See, the other thing is too, I'm sure Kurt Gidley would have come on at dummy half to give Cameron Smith maybe 5 or 10 minute break at some stage during the game too, so that opportunity is gone.
Come on, mate.
And in the background, Kristen Inu still struggling. He actually had the trainer out there a couple of minutes before that last contact. There he is again with the trainer, the right shoulder, not great. New Zealand through Asatasi work it out.
5
on the last tackle, they're only 22 from their own line. They need a good kick here from Ben Roberts. He gets a pretty good one away, but a couple of bounces before Kurt Gidley will clean up.
Well, that's a great kick by Roberts. He has got a good boot on him. Bounce did help. Kurt Gidley with it. And Gidley on debut, his brother Matt. It's been a huge 24 hours for the Gidley family. Matt playing in the Super League Grand Final, but amazing result, wasn't it, Sterlo? St Helens hammered.
33-6, 8-6 at half-time. And, of course, Leeds, coached by Tony Smith, who takes over now as the Great Britain coach. Brian McLennan, the new Leeds coach, who was in charge of the Kiwis before Gary Kemba.
And Alice Johnson tackled 35 metres away from the line. Cameron Smith. Cooper Cronk out with Hoffman. Hoffman hit and spin. Trying to offload's gone forward. Maybe a Kiwi hand in there as well. In any case, New Zealand back in possession. And thankful about that. Ended up in the hands of Harpy. You missed it earlier. Luke Cavell replaced after just 5 minutes. Dislocated elbow. Now the New Zealand side have turned it over. And the Kangaroos come up with a possession 30 metres out.
Showing some bad signs here with their body language, the Kiwis. They haven't even got back into position after that turnover. The heads went down.
Crocodile out there for the Kangaroos will be played by Bird. Cameron Smith on for Mason. Back it comes with Gidley and Cooper Cronk. There's a big charge here. Inglis with the ball. He only has to dive to score. Inglis goes over for the Kangaroos. That is their 3rd try for the afternoon. It's early to say it, but the Kiwis look on the rack.
And despite the changes made by Ricky Stewart to accommodate Mark Gasnier leaving the field, this was beautifully executed. Willie Mason going to the line, offloading beforehand. It came from a mistake again from the Black and Whites inside their own territory. It goes to Mason, second man to Kurt Gidley. Beautiful bullet pass to Cooper Cronk, short to Hoffman. And then he finds Greg Inglis. Melbourne. The last 3 passes.
Yeah, I like the way that Cooper Cronk got himself wide too off Gidley.
Yeah, I think
these plays that start with a forward looking like he's going to hit it up and then they get it out the back. And suddenly you've got extra ball players on the edge. Create great space for the likes of Greg Inglis and Brett Stewart to do their stuff. Hoffman, lovely right arm offload. Inglis had player in support but secured the ball and found his way into the in goal. They're doing it comfortably.
That's now 5 test tries to Greg Inglis. This only test number 6. Made his debut in the Tri-Nations last year. And he scored almost a try game in Origin as well. quite hit the huge try-scoring heights this year. 9 for the Storm, but most importantly 2 in the grand final. I just reckon Cameron Smith isn't mucking around with these kicks today. I think he's shaved a few seconds off. He doesn't want to stand out there in the breeze too long with the ball on the tee.
I don't think he wants to second-guess himself in the breeze. He just wants to get out and kick it, give it a good shot.
El Masri missed 3 here in 2002. Smith misses his first, 16-0. Plenty to cheer about for the Kangaroos fans as we watch the try again. And lovely setup. Great in the manufacture of this one, and Hoffman offloading ability.
OK, Bell.
And Inglis over for the Kangaroos' 3rd try. Well fielded by Bird.
First. OK, Roy. Hold.
Australia with the ball after the restart. Nathan Hindmarsh back on the bench. And Mason goes for a run which carries him over the 20-metre line. Kiwis playing with 12. The send-off is Steve Maddai. The left Mark Gasnier concussed.
Movement.
Kite tackled 15 metres short of halfway. Smith has been good right from the opening minutes. The new Aussie captain. Now Kurt Gidley. They're in the groove, the Kangaroos. Gidley makes 20 metres. He's 30 metres from the New Zealand line. Last tackle. Smith to the right side. Cronk kicks over the top. Here comes the kid. Here comes Folau. Folau's got his second. That centre 6 is right out of the textbook. From goal line to goal line, and Folau 2 tries. Test debut at 18 years of age.
Exactly right. Greg Bird took the restart, powered it out. Willie Mason, strong charge down the left-hand side. Cameron Smith out of dummy half. Kurt Gidley out of dummy half. And then the precision finish by Cooper Cronk. Not easy conditions to kick. That was the charge from Kurt Gidley after Cameron Smith had done so well. And Israel Folau does very well to stay on side here. Just bided his time, made sure he stayed behind the number 7. Took it just in the field to play and dived the big frame across in the corner.
Well, they actually had good numbers out to the right. Had they been a little bit deeper and more alert, they could have put the ball through the hands. That was the more difficult way to go about it in my book, but that's being old-fashioned. In the modern game, the younger players tend to back their ability to kick the ball into space and find a ball runner. And Cooper Cronk had no hesitation. He looked to the right, and where old-style halfbacks would say, OK, we got 4 on 2, let's just shift the ball. He just thought, well, I'll just get it there in one go. I'll just kick it to where Folau can catch it. Folau knew what he was doing, seized upon it, and scored. And there's the New Zealanders in a huddle behind their goal line. What is their motivation for the rest of this game? And it can only be to keep the score respectable.
Well, half-time can't come quickly enough. They do fly out tomorrow looking for a good start to their test series. What they need is a strong second 40 minutes to take them onto the plane. As Cameron Smith, he hit it nice and straight, but it just faded to the right of the posts. As the Kiwis won't be in any hurry to restart.
Yeah, Cameron Smith had a session here yesterday, goal kicking. The kicker's saying that the hardest thing is just knowing where to aim with their shots, where to take aim with this gusty breeze. There's Folau, his finish there. 21 tries in 27 games this year for the Storm. The Dally M Rookie of the Year. And now 2 tries in the first 30 minutes of his Test career. Mason has been good since coming on, and there goes Mason right over the top of Shontaine Happy.
Now hold.
Mason has been great since coming on. He's played with intent. He's played clever, timed his runs, been a lot of quality about his runs. He came into this game knowing that he's probably a little bit fortunate to retain his spot. Had a point to prove, not much football in the last 6-8 weeks. He's made every post winner out there this afternoon as another penalty goes their way.
Peter, I think he was always going to be in this side. I think they wanted to threaten him with the fact that his job could have been lost, just to sharpen him up a little bit. And as he said by his own admission, maybe I took it for granted a little bit. Well, you can't take the green and gold jersey for granted. Look at this, we've got 8 debut players out here that have got people sitting at home very nervous about what's going on this afternoon.
Guy takes a charge for the Kangaroos. That penalty, previous one, against Harpy for a grapple tackle. Cameron Smith inside for Mason, put a right arm fend on. Mason carries inside the 20, wrapped up by Mannering.
Okay, right.
And Fanawira. Now Cooper Cronk will work out towards Folau's wing again. Here they come. Gidley for Hayne. Hayne dashes through. Kangaroos are over again. They're carving the Kiwis up. The Kangaroos looking so slick. They are against 12 men, but they now have 5 tries in the first half.
And Phil Gould pointed out that the last try for Israel Folau, they could have gone through their hands. They did so on this occasion. Kurt Gidley slotting in out wide. Second man play off Cronk and off Greg Bird.
On half time, mate, I think.
Didn't go for the cutout pass. Went for Jared Hayne, who got on the outside of his man, the big fend. And then one-on-one against his Parramatta teammate that close to the line. Was only ever going to be one result.
It was smart play by Gidley. He could have gone for the long pass. The thing about Jared Hayne, as soon as he got into the backfield, he just took the fullback on. He knew that Folau was unmarked out wide, but again, the exuberance and the confidence of youth, they haven't learnt to miss yet. They just back their ability and step their way through, and Jared Hayne, another with a stellar season in rugby league this year.
Nice double two, Gus. Try on Origin debut. Now he's got the box set. Try on Test debut. Smith successful. 3 from 5. Test match footy on Channel 9. Finish. He'll run at Parramatta teammate Kristen Inu. Hayne puts the big right foot step on. Carries him past his good mate from the Eels. Restart is deep, and Bird has gone over the dead ball line. Back live here in Wellington, and from the kickoff it was awfully deep, and Greg Bird with a catch. It probably would have gone out over the dead ball line on the full.
Then if he'd have been back there, he'd have known where he was in relation to the dead ball line.
Ready, mate.
A rare opportunity for the Kiwis to do some attacking. Cameron Smith nails it. Taken by Inu. And he in turns find Lima.
The send-off for Steve Maddai aside, there's been some outstanding football played by the Kangaroos, and I guess you'd call that an error from Bird. And the other big error was right from the kickoff. Cooper Cronk dropping the ball, but not too much in between. Now the Kiwis in desperate need of a confidence boost in this match. Harpy on the end of a loose ball, wrapped up by Stewart. Fanawira 25 metres out from the line and smothered in the tackle there, chased across by Inglis. Still outside the 20. Fayumu, and for Lima, a little dusty when he first came on. 15 from the line. Fayumu, Roberts wants them left. The young Bulldog at 5'8" again today. Pritchard wrapped up by Hayne, penalty offside.
The line was offside.
Ruled by referee Ganson. Fayumu wants a quick tap, he's taken it. Kangaroos are offside. And Fayumu held up. A Cowboys representative in this game. Didn't score a try this year, but we know he's pretty good close to the line. Now with Jeremy Smith, the ball is put down off the back of Jeff Lima. Mason comes up with it, he's toying with the defence.
See, the problem for New Zealand, when they go for their big play, they're all storming at holes, but they're all storming together. And really, when it comes to the crunch, if Jeremy Smith holds the ball up late, he's only ever got one player to pass it to, and that's why Australia are able to crunch him, and they've forced a couple of turnovers.
And now an error at dummy half from Ryan Hoffman. Gidley and Ryan Hoffman were standing side by side, and Hoffman took over and then lost control of the footy, so a little sloppy there.
I don't know why a back row would want to push his way into dummy half to have a run. There's Maddai watching the action. If you've only just joined us, he was sent off earlier for a pretty high hit on Mark Gasnier, who was taken from the field on a stretcher. He was sitting up okay, Mark Gasnier. I don't think there's anything majorly wrong with him other than some concussion.
Well, Kristen Inu continues to struggle. He's on the right wing now. Even Paul Fatawira looks dusty. He's gone to the lock position for this scrum. And not only down to 12 men, but they've got some wounded troops out there who need to be assessed at half-time by Gary Kemble. And Australia muscle up in defence going into the break.
Now away for Halatau, takes a run at them, and Brent Kite straight onto him. Went straight for the ball. 23 metres away. Kiwis on the attack. Lima takes another run, and that time Mason collected him up around the chest. But they're close enough. if good enough now to come up with points. Fayumu, they attack the left side. They've done that a bit so far, working to Pritchard's side of the field. Johnson hopped on his back, rode him to ground. Fayumu with the ball, tries a kick out to the side. Chuiaki's had very few chances and has held up. Well, there's half a dozen there on Chuiaki. Hardest man to tackle in rugby league. Now another penalty, New Zealand.
Did he deliberately kick that to Chuiaki across?
Well, he kicked it along the ground sideways.
You've seen the high kick, David. It was actually a grubber kick across to his winger. Ayumi kicks for touch after the penalty. 6 to go.
I've never seen anything like that. What was that?
It was very courageous.
Now Fayumu for Lima. Takes a run straight back at Cameron Smith. Will play it 5 metres out from the line.
Back foot.
Crowd urging the Kiwis. They want to try Fayumu. They keep attacking this short side. The side where Madai would have been attacking for them. 3 minutes out. They are deep to the right now. Their back line goes back 30 metres here. Ben Roberts, half-time siren sounds as Atazi back for Roberts. He kicks out of the wing looking for Humpy. It's too long. And that brings an end to quite a dramatic first 40 minutes here.
Live Barclays Premier League this weekend. Saturday night's early kick-off. Everton take on Liverpool. Aussie superstars Kale and Kuehl go head-to-head as red and blue collide on Merseyside.
That wins the derby for Liverpool.
Saturday midnight, viewers' choice. Match of the day, Borough take on Chelsea. 7th place, 7 points adrift. Can Avram get the Blues back in touch with their special side? At 2:15, Aston Villa take on Man U. The Red Devils knocking on heaven's door. A chance at top spot.
Oh, yes!
Sunday night, West Ham host Sunderland. Can the Black Cats back up their brave performance at the Emirates? Tuesday morning at 5, Spurs keen to show their class in a tough trip away to Newcastle.
St James's Park is alive!
Saturday night at 9, the Merseyside Derby. At midnight, viewers' choice. 5 live, including Man City Birmingham, then Villa host Man U. Sunday night, West Ham take on Sunderland. Tuesday, Newcastle Spurs. All live, Fox Sports 1.
Imagine a diesel engine with race-winning technology that goes beyond the racetrack and cares for the environment. Who would have thought?
Miele. Suction so powerful, it's scary.
To say they've had a week's preparation, Bossy. There are 8 debut players out there that have been preparing for this all their life. Okay, and giving a good account of themselves in the process.
Australia on a run of 5 straight victories over the Kiwis. They won all 4 clashes last year and indeed earlier this year at Suncorp. And on target again. Some of the drama from the first half. Mark Gasnier replaced, concussed. He won't be back. Steve Madai sent from the field as a result of that tackle. The Kiwis lost the Sharks winger Luke Cavell early with a dislocated elbow. A number of players nursing injury going into the second half as well.
And just with Mark Gasnier, the report at half-time is, yes, bad concussion and particularly unwell. There's no way knowing the doctor would allow him back into the game, whether he was keen to play or not. Unfortunately for Mark Gasnier, a poor finish to the season, which began very ordinarily for him as well as Inu. Goes high and will find space.
This is a dangerous one. Bounces back for the kicker. Inu doesn't come down with it. And then pass went forward off the ground from Azatazi. Play on the call from Ganson. Now it's fielded by Crocker. And Crocker's now lost the ball. There was advantage. Inu's got it for the Kiwis. A little bit of promise. And his run is most definitely finished. 20 metres out from the line. Azatazi goes for a run. He offloads away for Mannering. Mannering out to the right. It's with Fadawira. Fadawira tackled by Hoffman. Go. 10 minutes from the line. New Zealand possession. Smith and Lima.
2.
Lima not quite inside the 10. Now Fayumu for Ben Roberts. Signed for Frank Pritchard. Takes a run at them. Is held 5 minutes from the line. The ball with Fayumu. Low pass for Roberts. Fires it out for Jeremy Smith, the halfback. Runs into a ball and all tackle. This is good goal line defence from the Kangaroos. Fayumu, 10 away. Lima. They simplify things, and this time eaten up by the defence. Last tackle. Left side is the way they want it. Roberts will try another grubber kick. He turns around for Lau, but the kick's too strong. And his touch in goal and 20-minute restart for the Kangaroos.
Hold.
Looking down at the Kiwis bench from that first half, Sam Rapira. Not sure whether he got any game time, did he? Sam Rapira? That in a situation where you've had a few injuries. The young Tyro from the Warriors as now Crocker gets back to the 40 for the Kangaroos.
Movement.
Cameron Smith has had a good running afternoon. Mason takes a run at Mannering, had the arm free.
Kiwis.
Now Cameron Smith down the left with Byrne. He's got Hoffman there. Hoffman runs to the hole. Hoffman tackled by Lima. 22 minutes from the line. Good set here by the Australians as they come out the right. Cooper Crocker is shut down. Great tackle, Halatau. 20 minutes from the line. Last play with Greg Bird. Tries a short kick. Up they go with Tuiaki. And they will say mid-air bump. Not so much mid-air tackle.
Took out in there.
Tuiaki has seen very little football.
I thought he did well there, Jared Hayne, not to tackle him in mid-air. He sort of ran looking at a challenge for the ball, but he pulled out of it.
Here, pal.
Mick Crocker doesn't look 100% to me. He's had a couple of nice runs, but he's got that right arm very heavily taped.
On the mark.
He seems to be favouring it.
First. Hold.
A lot of shoulder troubles this year too, Michael Crocker. It's been a story for the last couple of seasons. Hasn't played Test footy, Mick Crocker, since 2004. You're right in saying the last time he played a Test, he was 5'8". Here's Mannering with it. Up to halfway. He's had a good game, Simon Mannering, and a team down by 26 points to 0. Jeremy Smith, and now put down by Fayumu, and that is a soft drop ball. And the Kangaroos are with it with Brent Kite. Their confidence is sagging the Kiwis. Johnson makes good ground. He's 32 metres from the Kiwis line. Cameron Smith inside for Kite. Kite who made his test debut in the Tri-Nations last year. For the Manly Grand Final side, Smith for Cronk. Held up there for Bird when he could have thrown long out the back for Gidley. Gidley got fingertips on it, and then Crocker puts it down.
Unbelievable strength, Greg Bird.
Here we are, boys.
Another occasion there where, despite the attendance of a couple of defenders, he still gets that right arm free and offers the offload.
Yeah, got it, mate.
Unfortunately for Michael Crocker, unable to take it. Simple drop there from David Fayumu, looking at the opposition before catching the football.
Tight in,
Crocker doing the same.
Australian lock, close in 7. Close in, mate. Bit closer.
Plenty of time taken for this scrum to pack down.
We're done.
Somehow the Kiwis have to have 60% of the football in this second half to stop an avalanche of points. 60% or better, which is not going to happen.
First, now hold.
They've got a tough 35 minutes coming up.
Now Fayumu. They come with Lima. Lima's he's tipped up there, Jeff Lima. Well, he's tipped up when he was already on the ground. That's what makes it a little different.
It's a strange one there from Dallas Johnson. It was only ever going to end poorly.
So he's tipped up when he's already, what, half a metre from the ground. Yeah, the tackles, you're right, Sterlo, it's essentially completed.
There's no upside to the tackle.
Hold.
Looks like an upside to me.
Go.
It's a real upside, which ends up being a downside.
First, Willie.
The wrong side was up, that's all.
45 metres from the line. Lima goes for another run. He made 21 hit-ups in the grand final. He's going to go above that today for the Kiwis. A little hard to follow the interchange use of Gary Kemble. Rapira not on, and Moi played the first 15 minutes. We haven't seen him since.
2 knock-ons. Okay.
Lima's still out there. Asatazi may even play the full 80 the way we're headed.
You know, we said it before the game, so I'm not speaking after the ball here, but I was surprised all week at the talk that this New Zealand team could trouble Australia. For mine, there's too many fellas that I would call bench players, which are no good to you in a test lineup, but particularly against Australia. The back line's never played together before. It didn't have a lot of speed or creativity in it. I mean, I'm not surprised at the score at all. And given the fact they're down to 12 men, it's not going to make their task any easier. New Zealand are a long way behind Australia if they can't put their best players on the field.
That's it, isn't it, Gus? After 2005, we're thinking around Benji Marsh and Sonny Bill Williams. That is the future for New Zealand Rugby League. How often have they played together as Bird is straight through?
Bird goes through. He's inside the 30. He's got a flyer on the outside. Stewart with the ball. Unloads up. Beautiful ball. Sleight of hand back for Inglis. And another one of the kids. Another one of the Kangaroo kids. The Joey scores a try. Inglis has got his second. Folau's got 2. Haynes got 1. And Inglis is the oldest of the 3, and he's 20 years of age.
Yes, you are watching the youngest ever Australian back line rip to shreds the opposition defence. Back to the 1950s, Keith Holman, Frank Stanmore, Clive Churchill, part of that young back line. Well, these are younger, and you can see why they are running around in the green and gold jersey. What futures all of them have. As Greg Bird is the man who gets through the line. Looked like it might fall apart here. There was plenty of defence back there, but Brett Stewart summed it up perfectly, as did the try scorer Inglis.
Yeah, big pat on the back there for Brett Stewart. He's a noted try scorer, and playing in your first test and given a bit of an opportunity, he could have been selfish and pinned the ears back and gone for the corner and probably been bundled into touch. But it was beautiful play at the back end, just to slow down, sum up the situation, and turn Inglis on the outside for him to score in the corner. And that shows the quality player that Brett Stewart is. He's a wonderful footballer, as well as just being a fast man who can score a lot of tries. Cameron Smith from wide out. As I was saying just before that try was scored, you know, in the likes of Brett Stewart, Israel Folau, Mark Gasnier, Greg Inglis, Jared Hayne, my God, how were the Kiwis ever going to contain these fellas if they got good possession?
Well, you're talking 5 players there that aren't a great deal off a try match in their first grade careers. That's Stewart, Folau, Gasnier, Inglis, Hayne. A tough one for Cameron Smith. He's a shade of odds to kick it. He's got it out to the side. Live match, a live test match, rugby league on 9 at 30-0. Greg Inglis, 6 test matches and 6 tries. Kiwis, despite the fact they're down on the board and with 12 men, not mucking around with a restart. And Mason the run back.
First! Hold right. Go, mate.
In Wellington, the Kangaroos with 6 tries on the board, lead by 30 points to 0. Live on Channel 9, our final match for the year. And Brent Kite has tackled 11 short of halfway. Smith on for Hoffman. A few handling errors in Ryan's game, but outside of that, he's been very strong on test debut. Cameron Smith has been superb. Plenty of running metres for the number 9, the new Aussie captain. And now last tackle, Cooper Cronk. Didn't get a good ball, then adjusted his kick, and this one over the dead ball line again. This time it will be New Zealand to start from the 20.
Cooper Cronk going crooked his forwards in there. He didn't get good service from dummy half on tackle 5. When you're looking to kick for your supports out wide, you want the ball early and you want it where you're standing. That time Cooper Cronk had to wait. He had to go back for it and rush his kick. He didn't like it at all. And I like the fact he's screaming at his teammates, even though on debut he's making that number 7 jersey his own, and he's carrying the same sort of authority that many great players in the past have shown in that position.
He looks very comfortable out there, doesn't he, Cooper Cronk? He met his auntie last night. Flown in from Hobart. She wanted to say hello to all the Tasmanian Rugby League supporters, which we've now done.
4. Good, Willie. Good.
There's movement on the Kiwi bench. Both Jeremy Smith and Sam Rapira up. Nice kick downfield. Gidley will get across to it. Kurt Gidley at fullback. Stewart playing on the left wing. And Kurt Gidley away on Testaboo, the product of West Newcastle. Proud day for that club. To see Kurt in the green and gold.
He's a super player, Kurt Gidley. His best is in front of him for sure.
Now Brett Stewart in the field. There by Mannering. Jeremy Smith, the halfback. Zatazi was involved as well. This time, Dallas Johnson.
Sam Rapira has gone to the sideline now, so he will come into the action. Interesting to see who comes off as Willie Mason again terrorises the defence.
It is a long time to wait for a front rower. As Hoffman goes through, they're away again down the left side. Here comes Inglis. He's cut down by Azatazi.
Great tackle.
The New Zealand captain has stopped Inglis short of the line.
Well, it was Azatazi that was over there in cover defence. When Inglis scored his previous try, he was out with the one chasing back. That was a great save. New Zealand on the counter-attack here. But Roy Azatazi, wonderful tackle. Look at this. Hoffman into the backfield. Azatazi chases and picks up Inglis on the inside. Brilliant stuff.
Not only chased, but he pointed to his fullback to make the tackle so he could pick up the inside support player.
I think he was saying to his fullback, I'm not going to get Brett Stewart. I'm not going to get Hoffman.
You get both of them.
Yeah. Hold.
Kiwis are back to the 40, and Rapira's got a touch. It's going to say, I did find it a little odd, though, that you've got a bloke like Rapira, who has started plenty of games for the Warriors, wait so long to throw him on in a match where you're doing it so tough. Moy is only going to end up playing around 30 minutes in this test. Gary Kemble, I mean, he is new to the coaching caper with his interchange at this level. Kick, that bounces well for Gidley.
But Tui Moy only plays that long for Parramatta.
38 minutes is his game.
Yeah, well, why do you pick a player in a test match who only gives you 38 minutes of action?
Here's Bird again, Gus. Bird's on the fly, he's inside the 40. Got ankle tapped by Rapira. Front rowers making cover tackle.
Did you say Bird on the fly?
Hold. Maybe.
He knew exactly what he was doing.
You've been planning that all week.
Cooper Croc out for Smith. Cut out ball. Great hands, Inglis. Now on for Stewart. He had them in two minds, and Mannering makes yet another tackle.
Bird on the fly, that will do me.
18 metres out from the line. Hoffman straightens up. He's only 10 away. He's now 8 away.
I think he used the same one day with Danny Peacock as well.
And now Cameron Smith, Cooper Croc. Out they come. Inglis got it away. Inglis has held. This is pretty good from the Kiwis on their own line right now. He's got long arms, Inglis. He can stretch out from 5 metres away. Kick almost in goal. Big ricochet. Mason's there. Mason's got to it, then lost it. And Steve Jansen.
It's a knock-on. No, it didn't.
Well, he's got to set no advantage here to Australia because there's no doubt Willie Mason got the football, then lost it. Was retrieved again. Greg Bird, nice footwork. Upper body strength as well to get rid of another. Looking for support. Ankle tap from behind. And then this kick is a tough one to try and stop. Bounces off. He gets it back. There's Ben Roberts.
Didn't you blokes used to use that at Parramatta in the old days? Yeah. Jack Gibson had the big hard grubber kick across the first
field. Yeah, good strike over that. Hard to defend.
Move! Kurt Gidley, 5 metres away. Who's next in the queue for a Kangaroos try? Smith, inside for Crocker. Got one in the grand final. There's a Kiwi cry going up here for defence. They're trying to help their team. Smith, away to Mason. Mason is held up on the goal line. Cameron Smith looking up left. Crichton's going to run a decoy. Croc wants the ball. He's got it. Cooper Croc. Then it goes for Kurt Gidley. Out it goes for Stewart. He was next in the queue.
Check for obstruction.
Jensen wants to check obstruction.
Possible obstruction.
But Brett Stewart, as he did in Origin, may also have a try on Testaboo.
Yeah, it could be two.
Seemed to unfold okay. A couple of short rushes close in. Again, Mason heavily involved. Just to open up out wide. Some slick work out there. Let's have a look who goes through. Brent Kite. Well, he hasn't caused any problem. Then that's just a decision made by Jeremy Smith, the halfback, to come in. That's fine.
They're 1,000,000 to 1 of stopping this. From the time Mason surged and they just got in position, they ran their lines lovely. And a beautiful pass by Gidley will pick up Stewart, who's looked close to scoring a couple of times, but squeezes his way in the corner.
All they can be looking at here is Jeremy Smith coming in on Ryan Hoffman, and he does come in. Yeah, he opts to come in.
There's no worry with this. Absolutely no worry.
So take me through the process, Gus. In the video referee box where we have one Kiwi, one Aussie, Paquetto, Cooley. Famous test match back at the Sydney Football Stadium where there was some dissension between the two, and they took a try of Logan Swan many years ago.
I'm just watching them in there now. I can see them live. They're doing a little bit of rock, paper, scissors.
Right.
I think the Rock will get this. I think we'll have a try.
But in all seriousness, what is the point of having one representing each nation? What are we saying about their integrity? It's a try. It's 34-0 to the Kangaroos. Brett Stewart's got one on debut.
How and why would you remember Logan Swan no try from so many years ago?
Well, Phil Cooley reminded me about it this morning at the hotel when he was video referee, and there was a Kiwi there as well, and they argued over it.
I'm going to divulge the secret one day as to why Andrew Voss remembers that so vividly.
Well, I do remember he was 100 to 1 to score that first try. And there's Brett Stewart. So we've got Stewart a try on debut. We've got Folau gets two. We've got Jared Hayne a try on debut. Blokes like Dallas Johnson, Ryan Hoffman, Cooper Cronk thinking their turn may come.
What is the most on debut?
Well, 3 tries on debut is the story. And we do have to go back a little way for that. It's happened twice. 2 hat-tricks on debut.
Bobby Bugden.
1960. Brad Mackay, remember the test in Parks?
I remember it vividly. I was on the sideline, the coldest night in the history
of mankind. Kick from Cameron Smith from wide out. He doesn't get it again. So yes, Brad Mackay, 3 tries back on debut in 1990, where it was almost snow.
Paul Sirenen caught the football from the kick-off and ran 70 metres, and that set the trend for the night.
Who were you playing against? Was it Fiji or France?
It was France.
France, yeah.
No, I wasn't playing. I was sitting watching. Absolutely freezing. I thought I was cold here today, but...
Yeah, France were sitting and watching too for most of it, if I remember correctly. One of the things during the week they said about this New Zealand team that they play with such pride and passion in the black jersey, and I kept laughing at that because this Australian side has built up such a good reputation, and I'm quite sure with all these debut players there was going to be plenty of passion for Australia. They won't let up here. If you want to see some good tries, stick around, because they're not finished with the New Zealanders yet. They will put them to the sword here.
9 breaks to 0, Kangaroos to the Kiwis in this one. 7 tries to 0. Nathan Hindmarsh back out there. Short of halfway.
Square up.
Now Cameron Smith kicking to the corner. Kristen Inu's got a run. Stewart is coming through. Inu's got to it. 10 metres out from the line, but Brett Stewart is doing everything right.
Well, especially for the back line. It was a test of opportunity as we see Steve Price come into the game. Now, Darren Lockyer will be back. He said that next year will be his last year in representative football. Thurston will be back, but Cronk's done everything right. No Matt King, so there's an opportunity in the centres. Carmichael Hunt, well, it's going to be an ongoing battle for the #1 jersey. And that is disappointing for Brett Stewart that he didn't get a longer run there in his first game.
4.
Rapira, 15 metres short of halfway. I hope in all of that they haven't discarded Matty Bowen altogether. Lucky not to make the squad. And Jeremy Smith, 5 short of halfway for the Kiwis.
This referee has kept the biggest 10 metres I have ever seen in rugby league. I reckon it's been 14 or 15 all day, for both sides, mind you.
Brett Stewart with the ball, back in goal. Chases there, links up with Kurt Gidley. Gidley good off the bench, and well tackled there by Smith. That's Jeremy John Smith, and then Jeremy John Smith is penalised by Steve Ganson.
So the 2 Melbourne boys have done very, very well, I think, for the Kiwis. Worked very hard. That Jeremy Smith making the tackle and giving away the penalty. And Jeff Loomer played a lot of minutes, and again has worked very hard in difficult circumstances.
Hold. Now with Sivanasiva for the Kangaroos. Almost back to the 40. Numu first man up there with Moi Moi. Cameron Smith on for Steve Price. Again running at Moi Moi. Pira involved there as well. Price, one of the try scorers from the first half. He's been the lone forward to get a 4-pointer today. Cooper Cronk out for Gidley. With Gidley too, work is very sharp for a bloke who hasn't had, didn't feature in the final series. It's the same story for Greg Bird. Now with Mason at the match-up in Moresby. That's the only football for them. Sivanasiva. He's 40 metres from the line now, 35.
Max Papia and New Guinea's form look good, doesn't it? Oh, it's a 24-all draw up there.
Was indeed. Now for Cooper Cronk, and he turns inside. The Australians are threatening. Steve Price, he offloads. Now the ball with Gidley. Hindmarsh got it back. Oh, they're flying through. You know who's flying? It's Greg Bird to score.
Of course he is.
On debut. Another one gets a 4-pointer.
Of course he is. Swooped on it.
Oh, beautiful stuff, Gus. Lovely stuff.
Well, Steve Price again. Strong charge. He's had a bumper season up against plenty of his club teammates in this one. The inside ball here. Face pass to Price. He brushes through a couple of tackles. Short offload on the right-hand side. Short offload outside. And Nathan Hindmarsh swivels, turns, finds Greg Bird.
That's amazing. I remember this is going back as far from the 70s and 80s when I used to watch Test football and watch players who used to be dour and grind their way away in club football. Suddenly they'd wear the green and gold jersey, and there was this inspiration to suddenly be able to pass the ball and run quickly and step. And I remember those invincible sides going back in 1982, the Kangaroos that toured. And Sterling, you'd know that side very well, but players all of a sudden would produce one-arm offloads and passes, and we're seeing a little bit of that here today, aren't we?
Yeah, players like Rod Reddy, Les Boyd, so dynamic. Smith is successful. We take a break. Test match footy live on Channel 9. Steve Price, big hand in that try. Just one more game for Steve Price in what has been such a super year. He will play for the All Golds next weekend. The Dalian Prop of the Year. Warriors Player of the Year.
Okay.
And back in Test match football this afternoon. It is 40-0 here at the Cake Tin in Wellington. And still plenty of time. 4 points for the Kangaroos. Cameron Smith this afternoon has landed 4 from 8. On top of his 3 from 8 in the grand final. Just glad he doesn't kick at this ground every week. He's had a great game though in general play, as has this man Mason to the 40.
New Zealand.
So many contributors across the park for the Kangaroos. It's a great way to finish the year. Smith up to halfway. Tackled by Bennery. Last tackle here for the Kangaroos. Mason swings it back for Cooper Cronk, who's done his job today. And on the bounce to Chris Ininu. Boys have been right. Chris Ininu not at his best physically today. Earlier in the match, and there's a few mates with him, I reckon.
I'm sure Jonathan Thurston's sitting at home there, looking at the performance of Cooper Cronk and knowing that he has got real opposition when it comes to this green and gold jersey. And the Cooper Cronk Jonathan Thurston rivalry might go back to the likes of Sterling and Mortimer and Stewart and Langer.
You know what I'm on about, pal, don't you?
Johns and Tuvey. We've always had great clashes for that number 7 jersey, and Cooper Cronk has laid down the challenge this afternoon. He's been superb.
Talking about Darren Lockyer stepping away from representative football after next year. Maybe down the track, Queensland looking at a half 5'8", Cronk halfback, Thurston 5'8" in Origin.
They're in a good situation there, aren't they? And of course, Danny Medeiros, you know, he'll burst back bigger and stronger next year, but he's got a task now with Cameron Smith leading Kangaroos. Medeiros has probably decided that he'll finish at the end of the World Cup if he gets an opportunity as Moi centre field.
Good run, 18 metres out from the line. Been a while since the New Zealand side have had a chance here. Roberts out for Azatazi. Azatazi makes the run. And is finished off over the top. Needed to be by Stewart. He's gone back to fullback for the moment. Now the ball's lost. Falau, has he touched it this second half? I don't know whether he has, Israel Falau. He hasn't come his way.
He doesn't have to until they get to the other end.
And the Hindmarsh makes the run outside the 20.
What a luxury playing on the end of this Australian backline. Must be wonderful to wingers to come into the Australian side.
Bird almost through again, was tackled by Fatawira. Stewart's gone back to fullback. Gidley's gone to the wing. Michael Crocker goes through the centre. Here's the call from Inglis. Look at Inglis stretch out. It's a hat-trick. It is a hat-trick to the number 4. Greg Inglis, 20 years of age. What about the talent in this Kangaroos side? We hit 44, Sterlo.
Well, that was great work again from Australia up the centre. They're up Michael Crocker heavily involved. But the bad news again for New Zealand, I don't know whether Sky Sports New Zealand will show this. Have a look at Kristen Inu. This shoulder charge attempt there, straight to the ground. As Inglis strides away. It is not ideal for New Zealand that they are on a plane tomorrow to go to the Northern Hemisphere. And you're carrying injuries. This will be the impact here. There it is, the right shoulder for Inu. Totally ineffective against Greg Inglis. It's been wonderful that the Australian players have come looking for the football as well.
Well, that's a Melbourne Storm trait, and it was 3 Melbourne Storm players, Cameron Smith under Mick Crocker and Inglis backing up. And Melbourne Storm are the best in the league at tearing apart a side that's not so much given up, but can't hold its hands up as New Zealand can't at the moment. And they do it through the middle of the ruck. They support around the play the ball area. The likes of Billy Slater and Cooper Cronk. Inglis comes looking for the ball, and that was 3 Melbourne Storm players there who manufactured that try. This is a great Kangaroos team.
So Smith gets another 2. Inu has gone from the field, and it may even be a tour-ending injury favouring that right shoulder. Mannering, who was so versatile, but it'll be quite a reshuffle for them. Steve Maddai sent from the field in the first half for a high tackle on Mark Gasnier. As we watch the Melbourne connection again, Crocker gets the call. Inglis gets away from the shoulder of Kristen Inu, and this young bloke now is in test match number 6, and he's up to 7 tries and counting.
Well, let's just put it in perspective too, because I want to be honest about where New Zealand are at the moment. I could go back to Australia and get you 3 more teams that would come out here and beat New Zealand. There are 3 teams sitting at home that could come out here and beat the Kiwis at the moment.
Simon, go.
They've got a long development process to get ready for the next World Cup. And today really spells it out for them, just how far behind they are. Plenty of Australian players sitting at home in their lounge room saying, I could be doing that. Give me a shot.
Now Greg Bird with the ball. He's on the 40. Kangaroos into the field.
Again, I stress the importance for New Zealand Rugby League to get Benji Marshall and Sonny Bill Williams fit back in the side and build the team around them.
Hold. Come on, move. Go, pal.
9 tries to nil, Sterlo. And closing in on the biggest ever win right now. Cooper Cronk's kick. Back at fullback is Fatawira. And the ball is picked up. Oh, not again. It's lost by Gidley. It would have been another one for the Kangaroos.
Well, it really looked as though Kurt Gidley-Vossi had done all the hard work and got the football. Fatawira is back at fullback. Mannering was slow getting back. And Kurt Gidley, who, well, his game is marked by enthusiasm, no matter what jersey he's got on. He chases hard. He gets the football. He's got it there, and unfortunately just loses it at the crucial moment.
It's a nice touch by Ricky Stewart, letting Brett Stewart go back to fullback now, and
hold, mate.
Kurt Gidley to the wing.
Hold, mate.
Good job, by the way, missed tackle counts 37-5 in this. 5 missed tackles by the Kangaroos all afternoon.
2. Okay, Steve.
46-0 scoreline. Biggest previous win, 52-0 in 2000. Now the ball with Azatazi. He's still been strong for New Zealand. Look at this run.
He's been sensational.
Okay, Petrol, come on.
Gets over halfway. His second test as captain. Halatau now with the ball. Halatau is inside the 40.
4. Okay, Nathan.
Fayumu for Roberts. On with Jeremy Smith. Now for Fatawira. Had Harpy on his outside. Back line is drastically different to how they started the game here for the Kiwis. Jeremy Smith away from Roberts. He'll kick high from a long way out. Stewart's underneath it. Brett Stewart, safe, comfortable. 5 metres out from the line for the Kangaroos. One of a number of players going to try and debut today. Let's go through them. Stewart, Folau and Hayne and Bird. All scoring tries on debut. Now Folau with it.
2. Okay, boys.
Well, if we're talking about the merits of Australia in so many positions, especially the halfback position, talking about Cooper Cronk, Jonathan Thurston, you've also got Scott Prince there as well.
Okay, Fury.
One of the real problems for New Zealand is replacing Stacey Jones, who's now retired from representative football. Jeremy Smith is not the answer as a cut-out pass again finds a flying Greg Inglis.
Here he goes down the left side, passed in Hope back inside. Stewart got back there, great work on to Mason. Mason with the ball. He's held up 31 metres from the line. They close in on try number 10. Now the Kangaroos get a penalty. I said it before, players queuing up to score. Who's next cab off the rank? Maybe Inglis will end up with 4 here.
Yeah, they won't let up, the Aussies. We said that about 10 minutes ago. They've scored 3 since then.
So 15 minutes out from the line. Sivana Siva held up on tackle number 1. Cameron Smith comes across field, but Price is thinking about a second try. The old bloke away for Sivana Siva. They're the two 30-somethings in the front row for the Kangaroos. Surrounded by kids. Smith, Cooper Cronk, switch of play for Smith. They're ready to go. They've got the overlap. Stewart comes on. Mason, you need a Sherman. Take the stopping from that close. Mason gets a test try. It is try number 10. They've hit 50. And for the New Zealanders watching at home, yes, she got knocked out of the World Cup last week in rugby. And it's 50-0 here in Wellington. It's a tough 7 days for Kiwi sport.
You see how far Willie Mason threw that ball when he scored the try? He must have thrown that 40 metres. Lovely little switch of play. Gronk back to the other side of the ruck. Cameron Smith on to Stewart. Stewart to Mason. Puts the ball down and hurls it. I can tell you, that nearly ended up back at our hotel.
Yeah, they talk about Olympic boxing maybe for Willie Mason. I'd be thinking more javelin.
That ball sailed out and smashed into the back fence.
Just cleverly constructed again there. Pass to the right. Cooper Cronk got the football back to the left. And took advantage of the overlap. They are in total disarray at the moment. Gary Kemble can still come up with a smile. He knows that things can only get better in this coaching career. Interested to see how that ready smile is for the Cray in coming years.
The only thing he's smiling about is he doesn't have to play Australia again next week. He can go over to England and play them pommies.
Cameron Smith lands the goal. And it's another one for him. He's had plenty of shots today. He's had 10.
Gary Kemble is the crayfish, all arms and legs, boss here.
Gotcha.
That's where that comes from, as the crowd here haven't had much to cheer about. Except that man, just under 17,000 made their way in.
But it is a nation in mourning, having been knocked out of the Rugby World Cup. They've taken it a lot tougher than the Australians, with the Wallabies making their exit. A lot of sad faces, very grim time, and now their rugby league side has been towed up. And it is right now the equal biggest ever defeat for them in their 100th meeting today. Big celebrations. Not much to celebrate tonight. It looks like we've got another penalty here. Jeremy Smith.
Top of him, pals. Right.
Doesn't let up, referee Steve Ganson.
Oh, he's a beauty. I like him. Bring him out to Australia too.
I just wonder every week, Gus, whether he'd be the same. If you're seeing him every week, would this be the same feel good?
Have a look at the 10 metres here. He's back about 15 metres here. He's fit.
Go.
So Cameron Smith with the ball. Sivana Siva inside the half of New Zealand. 52-0. One more for the biggest score ever. Cooper Cronk attacking the right side. Bird on for Hindmarsh in reverse. Got it away. Stewart lost it. And scooped up there by Lima. New Zealand have possession. 15 metres inside their own half.
Hold. 0.
It is the 0 tackle. Fadawira away. And Chuyaki gets a run.
First.
You could say the first minute of play was outstanding for New Zealand. They got the ball back from the kick-off. Good defence there by the Kangaroos, but from the moment Luke Cavell suffered that injury, dislocated elbow in the first 5, things have gone horribly wrong. Fayumu stands and offloads there to Halatag. That's how wrapped up 35 metres away from the Kangaroos line. Fadawira, they work right side with Ben Roberts for Jeremy Smith. Looking a little more lively for Mannering. He's just inside the 30. Held there in the tackle of Steve Price. it is a tough old day in front of a crowd of just under 17,000. Which is disappointing in itself too, to come down to Wellington and not get over the 20,000 mark. And now a drop ball there from Roberts. Got the pass on the bounce. And it was on the last, so it'll be a change over. Kangaroos ball 20 metres out from their line.
Back here. Back. OK, mate.
With Israel Folau. As far as the 30.
OK, right. Go.
Brett Stewart. Make another 8 metres, held in the tackle of Halatau. All sorts of ceremonies in the lead up to the test match.
Hold there.
And Wayne Bennett to coach that all-gold side next week. Will include Steve Price. Here's Sivanasiva. I know too they're going to play under the 3 points for a try in that game. As Cameron Smith goes for a run. And away they go with Dallas Johnson. Offloading, superb leg, Stewart. Fifth, oh, he got a call. He flicked it straight to Fedawira.
Going back to the original point-scoring system, boss, I think a field goal will be worth 2 as well. As New Zealand work it away, Ricky Stewart will remain undefeated as the Australian Test coach against New Zealand. Only the one loss, and that was to Great Britain in last year's Tri-Nations. This will be his 8th game in charge for the 7 victories. Ben Roberts, short ball to Simon Mannering, who hasn't stopped trying all afternoon.
4.
Kiwis with Lima. And here's 42 metres away. Nice offload there for Fayumu. Fayumu looking to wrong foot the defence. Finds support, put down by Rapira. Mannering forces the knock on. But it's totally unravelled here for New Zealand. Again now, you saw there on the bench. Cavell's been off since the 5th minute after dislocating his elbow.
Okay, it'll be very interesting to see what Gary Campbell and his coaching team do when they do head over to England as to what players they bring into the side. Chase Stanley, we saw run around in the junior Kiwis here today. He may well be an option.
Minutes and a half, lads.
And the halfback, I guess Thomas Lulawai will come into contention. He's had a reasonable season over in the English Super League.
Stewart almost getting away for the Kangaroos. Titi was a try scorer overnight for Leeds. Sivanasiva with the ball. Sivanasiva is up and inside the 40 for the Kangaroos. So one more score for the Kangaroos. They'll have their biggest ever win over New Zealand. In test match number 100, Mason's on the charge again. Mannering does extremely well to make the tackle.
Well, he was the man who got pushed off originally. He kept at it, Simon Mannering.
Cooper Cronk dumps it off for Price. Price is held 9 metres from the line. Jeremy Smith locked up the ball there over the top. Smith, Cameron with a dummy. The captain has scored. His first match as captain of the Kangaroos. An amazing honour for him. And it is now the biggest ever scoreline, 56-0.
And very fitting that the captain gets across this kind of performance. He's put together a season that Darren Lockyer did at the end of 2006. He's been involved in State of Origin victory, premiership win as the skipper. See, there's Simon Mannering getting pushed off by Willie Mason. But all of a sudden, you'll see left of screen, here he comes again. That's good perseverance late in the game. Then Cameron Smith, the dummy, the defence not coming up off the line. And very easy. What a season for Cameron Smith. What a way to lead your country for your first time.
Quite a tally too now, up to 16 points, 6 goals, and the 1 try for Cameron Smith, and he's passed the baton in the goal kicking for this one. Thrown it over to Kurt Gidley to get some points on debut.
It's also something for these Melbourne players to have, they've had a great week of partying after the grand final, but and then they've got down to business. They've realised that, okay, we've got a responsibility now, an opportunity. Kurt Gidley playing on the left wing comes in to convert, as he does. So the Melbourne players have, they've done well. They've enjoyed the victory over the Manly Seagulls, the premiership decider. And now they've rolled the sleeves up here to get the job done at the higher level.
And they play Cameron Smith on screen. You could say born to lead. I could chat with him last Sunday, how excited he was when he was a young bloke. He was captain of the under-8s, and he said what a thrill it was back there. He captained these junior teams all the way through from under-8s, and today he had the walkout as captain for Australia, and he mentioned his family and everyone who'd supported him along the way. He thought he was representing everyone today.
Well, I hope Danny Medeiros does come back. Mistake here from Greg Bird from the kickoff, one of the rare ones. I hope Medeiros is back, because I think that'd be a great battle again at Origin level as the siren sounds.
Well, full-time siren, and the biggest ever win by Australia over New Zealand. 58 points to nil. 11 tries scored here. 7 goals, and it also featured a hat-trick from Greg Inglis, a couple of tries on debut to Israel Folau. Mason as good as any forward out there coming off the bench today. Steve Price was magnificent. Bird had some wonderful highlights to look at, and contributors right across the board for the Kangaroos today.
This has been a Fox Sports
Steeped in tradition and soaked in fierce rivalry. Witness the unbridled passion and excitement that is the Curry Cup, exclusive to Fox Sports.
Oh, look at this! Gallagher splits! Gallagher wins!
The oldest domestic rugby competition on earth comes to you every week with games from across the Republic.
Yeah! JP Nell! What a finish!
The pride of the South African Union, the Curry Cup, exclusive to Fox Sports.
This goal of the week brought to you by Hyundai. Drive your way.
That's a beautiful touch from Travis Dodd. He just gets better and better with every touch. This is Pantelis! Oh, brilliant! Lucas Pantelis, and he's deserved that goal. Sensational!
What a finish.
This goal of the week brought to you by Hyundai. Drive your way.
Miele. Suction so powerful, it's scary.
Get ready to press red for your chance to win a Bravia LCD TV and other great Sony prizes. Only available on Foxtel.
I love being a South Australian. I was a huge honour when I first stepped out on Adelaide Oval. I really enjoyed my career. I always have, but I'm probably not worrying about little things these days. Just going out there and playing the game. I'm Jason Gillespie from the Adelaide Cricket Club, the Mighty Buffaloes in South Australia.
It's the competition that turns state lines into battle lines. The Ford Ranger Cup, cricket on Fox Sports. How good is it?
Wednesday night, be in the game on Fox Sports. Bullets Kings live. The contenders hit the court. Bruton, McKinnon, Saville and Smith all bringing it to the Brisbane Sydney Showdown. Live Wednesday, Fox Sports.
They altered the course of modern-day Test cricket with a monumental Ashes win in 2005. But come the first Test in Brisbane, England was still nursing a nasty hangover. Their target to go one up defending the urn, 648 runs in just under 2 days.
2 sessions and a bit for England to survive as Shane Warne comes into the attack for the first time. And the mighty roar all around the Gabba greets him.
Hildy! Yes, King! Good work.
Warne is underway and it's none for 30. Stuart Clark comes into the attack down at the Stanley Street end of the ground. He bowled a single over down here at the Vulture Street end of the ground, but this was the end he had success from in the first innings. 2 slips, 2 gullies for Andrew Strauss. Now then, what a good take. Twice in the match, Andrew Strauss goes, playing the full stroke. Ryan Broad is on the field as a substitute, and he's taken a super catch down at long leg. And what's more, Stuart Clark is the man who struck the first blood.
Well, Andrew Strauss is a very smart cricketer, but he's got to learn. In Australia, you can't keep going from low to high with the pull shot. You're going to get caught a bit. He's been caught twice in this match. He's got an adjustment to make. Very good catch from Ryan Broad. It's 1 for 29.
Ian Bell comes to the wicket on the back of Stuart Clark, doing for Andrew Strauss. Clever surprise bouncer, and the Australians are going to pummel Strauss, I'm sure of it. They'll give him a chance to play that pull, that hook. Ryan Broad, what a moment for him. Honours the substitute for Ricky Ponting. Took a super low catch down at long leg because the ball got to him quick and flat-ish. He didn't have a lot of time to think about it, which of course might help. Right, Ian Bell on strike. 2 slips, 2 gullies. Cover a mid-off on the offside. And a little carrot first up from Stuart Clark that's resisted by Ian Bell.
Well, I'll tell you what was good about this catch. So often a man in the deep at long leg takes a moment or two to judge the trajectory of the potential catch. But I watched the fielder here, and at no stage did he put a foot wrong. He saw the ball was coming flat. He judged it. He came in 4 or 5 paces, got to it at just the right moment so he could take it at a comfortable height.
Good placement. It's a full toss, but Cook's position over the ball, the way his weight was transferred, makes sure of good timing and a boundary.
Good shot from Alistair Cook, but you'll see the bat coming from below the ball and hitting up on the ball. It can only go in the air like that. He's got to cock the wrists more and get the bat up higher.
Interesting session here with Warren bowling from the members' end to Bell, who played very well for his 50 in the first innings. Hit the pad first, yeah! Good umpiring, that was out, it was full. He played around it, well bowled Shane Warne. It was falling off the umpire, saying that's going to hit the stumps. That's beautiful bowling.
Great commentating as well, Laurie. Got it absolutely spot on right. It did hit the pad. You could just hear the thud and then the neck. And, of course, the umpire just paused for a second just to make sure that he let it rattle around in his brain for a second, and then bang, up goes the finger. Have a look at it.
It's not the first time Shane Warne has done that to Ian Bell. What happens is Bell doesn't pick the slider. He bowls him the leg breaks, and he did this in England and had him in all sorts of trouble. No picking the slider, and you're up and out for a wicket. It's 2 for 36.
Paul Collingwood, 16 matches, good average of 39. He'll be tested here. Warren's got his tail up. It's a beautiful piece of bowling. Bell played for the spin. It wasn't. It went straight on and took middle and leg. Good umpiring too by Steve Buckner. Wonderful out from Shane Warne. It's 2 for 36. This time he goes bang, well played into the gut. That's a beautiful shot. Ian Chappell will be jumping out of the seat with that shot because he's gone down over the ball into the gap at mid-wicket. Didn't try and hit it behind square. Superb stroke.
And no better example will you ever find to emphasise what Ian Chappell was saying about the difference between Strauss and Cook in their playing of the stroke. Cook's bat up high and coming down, and Strauss with his bat down lower and always hooking in the air. That's a lovely stroke.
In the air, almost got him. Almost brilliant effort by Justin Langer at short cover on
Damien Martin, at least he's from Western Australia, dived forward and got his hand to it. Would have been a great catch. Good field placings by Gilchrist.
Yes, had he been a Victorian, of course, he'd never have dropped it. Here we go. He got a hand on this, I'm sure. Just, yes.
It's very typical of Collingwood. Just little punches on both sides of the wicket. And remarkable timing. He should surely be able to run 4 and does. There's a super stroke. I really like the way that he's waiting to play those cut strokes and therefore timing them so nicely.
Well, his technique so far has been pretty good. He's looking for the short ball, which is the way you can score against Shane Warne. And when the ball's up there, he's not looking to drive through the offside. He's looking to actually work the ball to the leg. So there he's 2 shots at the moment. This one, it's slightly short from Warne. He picks the gap. And then when Warne tosses it up, he's looking to work the ball to the leg side. It's not bad technique against Shane Warne.
That's out. That is out. Yes, caught. A huge inside edge onto the pad. He just pushed it a bit hard. He'd been waiting for the ball. That time he pushed it hard. It was slightly faster. It was very, very well bowled by Shane Warne. A little inside edge onto the pad, straight to forward short leg. And that is the end of Cook.
Well, Shane Warne rewarded, but Mike Hussey, who's been in there focusing on the ball, waiting for an inside edge for it to fly out, exactly what happens. And he did not shy away at all. It's a difficult position, and they always say you've got to stay low. That's the 3rd wicket for Australia, and a big breakthrough for Shane Warne. Cook gone for 43, it's 3 for 91.
So Kevin Peterson, the new batsman, 19 matches, an average of 47, already 1,600 runs. Right, this will be an interesting battle. Oh. Straight onto the front foot with that flipper. Righto, let's have a look at this one again. There are a few noises here.
The side-on view and the accuracy of Shane Warne, and it was just a little bit more turn. That's why it scraped the inside edge off the pad.
Oh, he's got hold of that one, and it's all the way. Oh, beautifully taken down there by the ball boy. He was out of his traps like a flash. He did want it, that's for sure. And what's more, he was sitting there quietly enjoying himself in the shade. Let's have a look at this. He's actually the scoreboard attendant. Just watch how he deflects this right off the middle of the bat. There he is, gets up. How can you ever possibly drop a catch when a bloke can do it like that?
He's got to be playing first grade up here in Brisbane. Easy as you like. He's sitting in a dugout. He's flown out to his left. And Richie taking it with all the ease in the world.
Looks good. Could make a name for himself. But it was a pretty good shot as well. Quite deliberate.
Well, that's very well played. One bounce and over the boundary for 4, and that brings up his half-century. Very well played by Collingwood. He's had a few little breaks and missed a few times, but he's a fighter, that's for sure, and that was a superb shot.
Well, that's one occasion when you do need to go from low to high with the pull shot, because that one stayed down a little bit, and with a short mid-wicket he wanted to make sure he got it over his head.
Oh, yes, boy. 10 off the over, 3 for 164.
It's all too friendly, apparently. Last ball of the over. Straight back at Warne. Oh, I'll play another shot. Oh.
It's gone for him, and he's gone long, long, long. Yes, it's over the rope. Peterson goes along the carpet. Collingwood goes over the top.
I was just thinking that Shane Warne would be enjoying bowling to Collingwood. A little bit of light relief and maybe a stronger chance of getting a wicket because Peterson was giving him a touch-up. But this is good courage from Collingwood. Again, we see the use of the feet allowing the big stroke to be played. Back to the cut shot. He finds the gap. He'll find the rope.
He'll bring up his 50 with that glorious cut shot.
Of a century has succumbed to the pressure. He's been stumped for 96.
Oh, wow. You could sense it was about to happen. Shane Warne was playing some tricks. There was a bit of verbal out in the centre. Collingwood thought, I'm an easy, soft boundary away from 100. No soft boundaries from that man. He's missed it by 6 inches. The situation got to the English right-hander, unfortunately 4 short of a century for he. England lose their 4th. The score's at 244. Deserved applause for Paul Collingwood.
Well, what a sensational bit of cricket that was. Not so good for Collingwood because out for 96, but Warne changed the field. He brought mid-on in, built the pressure on him. He tried to go over the top. Flintoff, the new batsman, he's on a pair. Warne to him. Oh, that's definitely a harmy. That's way, way outside off stump. He was obviously trying to bowl a low, faster one there. Right, so let's just have a look at the wicket again. Trying to get it over the offside and missed it by a long way. Tremendous work by Gilchrist, and there goes the celebration. Have a look at Shane Warne. He's spent a bit of sweat on that one.
It could be out, laying it down his throat. Got it. Straight down his throat. One man out. Not a great shot, that. Great bowling. Well caught by Langer.
Justin Langer was about 3/4 of the way to the boundary. He's there for the lofted straight drive. He's certainly not there for that shot. I'm not sure if this has actually come off the toe of the bat of Andrew Flintoff or has just been done by a bit of pace. But he certainly wasn't there for that type of dismissal. But I'm sure Shane Warne won't mind. It's short enough. I think it was got towards the toe of the bat. Flintoff knows straight away, straight to Justin Langer. Didn't have to move a metre. Warne's got 4. England now in real trouble. 5 for 271.
Right, Jones, crease. Disappointing shot from the skipper there.
Warne gives you so much confidence because he can jag a wicket from anywhere. Flintoff, there's no bigger.
That's an ordinary cricket shot at this level. Nice start. Confident square drive. And that feels fast. That's all the way. Gone! 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 Can you believe it? Chips it straight to mid-wicket. A very good catch. Damien Martin. So Peterson is out for 92.
Oh boy, that was going like a rocket. It really was going like a rocket. And Damien Martin, you're right, took an absolute beauty. And yet another Englishman wanders off the ground, having not quite reached the century mark. Have a look how he hit this right in the middle of the bat. It went like a rocket and beautifully taken by Martin. Clean as a whistle. Well, that's the one they wanted. And England now 6 down for 293.
Ashley Giles taking guard against Brett Lee. Good captaincy there by Ricky Ponting. He had the man in the right position, but a brilliant catch by Damien Mutt. It went like a rocket. And Kevin Peterson was bitterly disappointed. The ball didn't swing. It was there to be put away, but he didn't keep it on the carpet. And all of a sudden, there's 2 slips, 2 goalies, in fact 3 goalies now for Ashley Giles. Oh my word. Oh my word. Bang, another 4.
Yes, well, he's certainly putting his theory into practice. Ball short outside off stump, and he's going to cut and cut hard. He's got a few in that area, and he's really got stuck into them. So Giles is now on 5. Jones on 28.
Hogarth, Hummerson, Anderson to come for England.
Got in, yeah! Glenn McGrath does the trick. It's Geraint Jones who's gone a little inside edge as the ball didn't bounce quite as much as he thought it might. That'll bring the smile back to that tall man's face. And may spell the end for England.
Geraint Jones gets bowled a lot. He's not a top order player. I guess you can forgive him a little, but I think he gets bowled a bit too often for a guy who's selected in the team predominantly for his batting. Bit unlucky there with an inside edge. It's 7 for 326.
Matthew Hogarth arrives at the crease on the back of a nice innings from Geraint Jones. He played some terrific strokes that will have given him confidence, but 20s and 30s are frustrating. Jones has made a Test match 100, and in this role at number 7 it would be important for him to make more of those starts. So Matthew Hogarth in a tear. England 7 down, and Australia cock a hoop with 3 slips, a gully, a silly point coming in tight on the offside there. Michael Clark just to look up into the face of Matthew Hogarth, who resists.
And if he had half forgotten that he was on a tear, I'm sure he now remembers. Matthew Hogarth and McGrath back into the action. Stayed down a little bit. Jones looking to force on the offside. Didn't cope with the lack of bounce. Didn't hit the middle of the bat, hit the under edge and middle and off.
What super cricket that is. Excellent ball from Stuart Clark, and another sharp catch from Shane Warne. In the end, he's probed away at such a good length and has made England play, and then when it nips off the seam, it only needs your fielders to do the rest.
And maybe this one didn't nip. It looked quite straight. See, sometimes a little bit of leg cut is too much. That time perfect. He got Giles playing shots. He wanted to hit the ball, and finally he finds the edge. Great bowling. Deserves the accolades of his teammates. 8 down for 346.
Steve Harmison's the new man. 46 Test matches, an average of only 11. Obviously looks out of sorts to me, and with the ball and the bat in the first innings, made a duck and ran one off the middle of the bat. So, all looking good for Australia, who've taken 3 wickets in the first hour. And it's a very good morning to Bill Laurie.
Thank you, Mark Taylor. McGrath continues. And what a good effort Stuart Clark has put in this Test match. He's now got 5 wickets. Gone. Warne's got him. Good snipper. Well bowled. Well caught. Beautiful line of length from Stuart Clark, and a very good Test match. Now got 6 wickets in this Test match. That was right on the money.
It's again a good line, and maybe a little bit of shape away. Oh no, probably just a bit wide for Matthew Hogarth to be going at it. Shane Warne, he doesn't drop too many. We talked about his hands. Very safe at first slip. It's an excellent game. Stuart Clark, as is Shane Warne. 9 for 361 England.
James Anderson comes to the crease. Replaces Matthew Hoggard. Well caught by Warren. The bowling of Clark for 8. .287 required for victory for England, so the 87 gets in the match somewhere. The umbrella field here for Anderson. Is that okay? Straight to Hayden at that second gully. Good bowling and good catching. We've talked about Shane Warne and the slips. We've talked about the line and length of Stuart Clark. Right on the money. Drew him into the shot. Flew straight to Warne. Well taken. Shot. Warrior shows off the mark of the boundary. Threw it wide, looking for the rough. He took the big pace forward. Anderson, fine shot.
Shane Warne, I think he's going to keep tossing them up here. He's just looking for a wicket. Doesn't mind going for the odd boundary at this stage. Another chance for 5-wicket haul. Looking for his 37th in Test match cricket.
Clark to Harmison. Pulled it in the air. Comes McGrath. He won't drop this. He's a great outfielder. It's all over. 4 wickets to Clark. Well caught. Big victory here for Australia in the first Test match in the Gabba. Bowled the bouncer. Harmison went for the hook shot. Well caught.
An excellent game for Stuart Clark and Glenn McGrath there. McGrath 6-wicket haul in the first innings. Stuart Clark 7 wickets for the game. Go with his useful 39 with the bat. So he's had an excellent Test match to go with his other 4 in his career. Putting the pressure on the selectors. Here's the final one. Harmison playing his shots, as Bill Laurie called it. Finds Glenn McGrath in the deep, and in these days he doesn't drop too many.
Imagine a job where getting sacked was part of your job. Welcome to the big game. NFL Monday mornings, Fox Sports. This program brought to you by Hyundai. Drive your way. Hungry Jack's. The burgers are better at Hungry Jack's. Mighty helpful Mitre 10. Finally, someone's fixing hardware. Snickers. Get some nuts. Valentine's, official spirit of the Hyundai A-League. And the unbeatable 100Hz Bravia LCD TV from Sony.
A third of the way in, and the intensity begins. With pressure mounting on the Reds, can they consign Melbourne to their first defeat this